getting you up and getting your sports day started. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3. Your home for what we had for dinner, TMZ updates, and random hiking stories. This is the Morning Drive on Double T 97.3.
Any random hiking stories for you today, Mr. Lent?
No. Haven't been on the trail recently.
Okay. You got your boots are nice and clean, but you'd be available if something came up.
I'll always try to be.
Yeah, always try to be. All right. I thought this will kind of put things in perspective just a little bit, and just in terms of maybe how difficult it is to play at the collegiate level or the NFL level. So around these United States, there are 15,810 high schools that play football under the National Federation of State High School Associations. Okay? So a little over 1 million players, 1.04 million high school players as of the 2018-19 season. It takes some time to accumulate these numbers, and they update them each year. The percentage of high school football players from that number that go on to play in college, 7.8%.
Pretty small.
Pretty small. There are 774 colleges and universities that play at all levels, FBS, FCS, Division II, Division III, NAIA, etc. A little over 81,000 college football players. Okay? So that whittles that number down pretty quick. There's 125 junior colleges offering football. 0.041% of college football's players made NFL opening rosters last year.
Even smaller.
0.41%. Yeah, crazy, right? In the NFL, of course, there's 32 teams. There's 2,016 players on NFL rosters. 320 rookies made rosters on the opening week last year. The average life for a NFL career is 3.3 years.
3.3, not very long.
Not very long. No, not very long. They point out on that 0.41%, they correctly point out that 99.6% of college football players go on to other careers. That way you get to 100. I mean, it could be anything. Lawyers, doctors.
Sure.
Whatever, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The other thing that I found interesting, 81% is the graduation success rate of football bowl subdivision student athletes. So FBS student athletes, 81%. The general student population of Division I institutions is 68%. So you're more likely to graduate if you're a football player than if you're a general student. And the negative Nancy's are immediately going to say, well, the college football player gets more help than the average student. Okay, well, you could say that, but the college football player basically has a full-time job, right?
And a lot of students have jobs.
They do. Yeah, there's no doubt. There's no doubt.
Yeah, and you're accurate.
Right.
Accurate.
Yeah, that's
accurate.
They get a lot of help. Right, they get a lot of help.
That's what we want the university to do.
Absolutely.
We absolutely want them to help them.
Absolutely. You like that? Or
I love it.
I thought you did. Now here's the thing I found interesting, and I think this number is growing. 3,113 student athletes on 2022 college football rosters have already earned an undergraduate degree. So I think that's a pretty big number.
Yeah, I think the COVID would probably factor into that. Maybe make that number a little bit bigger.
Well, I think we'll see that number. Yeah. I think that
in normal years, and then
you get the extra year. Mm-hmm.
Also, football probably breeds it more than other sports because more redshirting as freshmen.
Sure.
And so they're around for that fifth year.
Sure.
And more so than other sports where the guys come in and are expected to compete right away.
Yeah. I just remember a couple years ago when we were at the Chamber of Commerce kickoff breakfast, and I said, casually said, if you don't walk away with a master's degree, it's a wasted opportunity. And the then head football coach, Matt Wells, was listening. He wasn't too pleased with me.
Yeah, I think you made it sound like it was really easy to do.
Right. I probably.
So you've gone from that to.
It's not quite like that.
So you just totally went opposite of that.
No,
Matt Wells changed you.
No. What I was saying is that the naysayers would say, "Well, help," which is accurate.
Which is exactly what Jamie just said.
Right. No, I got that, but I'm not saying that that's.
You have now repeated Jamie.
I mean, there's nothing wrong
Yeah.
with the university, the athletic department, doing everything they can to make sure these guys get help and have they have people that help them.
Right.
It's not. I'm not suggesting there are people that are making them do their homework. I'm not or there are people that are doing their homework. I'm not suggesting that at all. There's nothing wrong. With them. Hey, these guys are helping us win football games. They mean a lot. Or basketball or baseball or track or whatever.
Yeah.
So we're gonna provide them with counselors and tutors and all that kind of stuff that helps them. Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with that. And there's also nothing wrong with admitting that.
Yeah, no. I was just saying that the naysayers would poo-poo that stat because they would say that that was my point, that the naysayers would poo-poo that. I wasn't poo-pooing that stat. The naysayers.
But again, it's accurate.
It is accurate, yeah.
Yeah.
Chuck, I'm at Texas Tech right now. The student athletes definitely, in all caps, get a ton of help. I've been in classes with them where they don't take notes because the tutor will get them from the professor. The football and basketball students are also driven to each class on golf carts. Wow. So, oogly boogly yourself, pal.
Is that true about the golf carts?
I don't know. I've not been on campus, so I don't know.
That feels a little much, but whatever, I guess.
I mean, if you've got somebody that's really important, then that's probably
that feels a little much.
That seems
over the top.
Seems a little. I mean, that could be a great job for somebody to go pick up the QB1 or what. I think he's got a couple of degrees already. The other thing I found interesting is that since 2003, 5,863 football student athletes have returned to school to earn their degrees. So that's good. That's good. Yeah,
that's good.
That's good.
Yeah, and I have no idea whether this texter's comments are accurate that they don't take notes, but I'll guarantee you there are plenty of student athletes that do take it serious and do take notes.
Sure.
But I'm not going to act like everyone is the same.
Right.
Just like every normal student is not the same.
Student's not the same. Right. There's probably plenty of people that have their girlfriend or boyfriend that are taking notes for them.
I mean, I can remember when I was in college, it was, every fraternity had, it was like absolutely. One guy's job to go to class this day. And he took it for the rest of the class or the rest of the frat, and then somebody else's job to show up the next time to take the notes. And
right.
So
somebody else's job to steal the test. Oh, that was Animal House. Never mind.
Yeah, and I took a couple classes with my now wife, and I'm not gonna say that I didn't borrow her notes at
Lean
times
on her
too.
a little bit.
Yeah,
so. She was better at taking notes.
Paying attention. Yeah.
Okay.
Really. Yes.
That's
yeah.
That's fair. So anyway, I just thought that was interesting.
I don't care what sport it is. It's difficult to get to and what level. It's difficult to play college sports.
Yeah, I think the shocking number is the drop off between high school and college. I mean, about college to the NFL, but I mean, even getting onto a college roster, like you said, of any sport, is a significant achievement. So, you got to be good, and you got to work hard and practice and all those kinds of things. So, I won't bore you with any more numbers like that today.
No, numbers are good.
Okay.
Big plays and even bigger laughs. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3.
Time for this day in sports history. Today is the 31st day of August, 2022. Time for this day in sports history. Here's Jeff McGuire.
1903, going to kick us off, gentlemen. New York Giant future baseball Hall of Fame pitcher Joe McGinty wins his third doubleheader of the month, beating the Philadelphia Phillies 4-1 and 9-2 at the Polo Grounds. Both games of a doubleheader 3 times in a month.
Yeah. That's pretty impressive.
The word I'm looking for is insane.
Rubber arm.
Well, they were also probably pitching underhand in 1903, but still. That's a lot of baseball. 1915, Chicago White Sox, Jimmy Lavender no-hits the New York Giants 2-0.
Had their purple unis on that day?
In 1915? Mm-hmm. Doubt it. I bet it's the very beige white that they wore for a while.
I was trying to be kind of funny there.
1924, official morning drive marathon runner. Paavo Nurmi runs a world record 10,000 meter, 30 minutes, 6.2 seconds.
Dude can fly.
It's got stamina, too.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
1935, Chicago White Sox, Vern Kennedy no-hits the Cleveland Indians 5-0. So 2 White Sox no-hitters in one day, many years apart. 1959, Sandy Koufax fans 18 Giants to set a National League mark in a 5-2 Dodger win. He was pretty good. 1972, American super swimmer Mark Spitz wraps up an Olympic butterfly double with a world record 54.27 in the 100 meter in Munich, having already won the 200 meter in world record time of 2 minutes, 0.7 seconds. 1979, in the Battle of American Teenage Tennis Prodigies. That's...
Yeah, protege. Yeah, prodigy, I think is the...
Prodigy, yeah. 16-year-old Tracy Austin beats 14-year-old Andrea Jaeger 6-2, 6-2 in the second round of the U.S. Open.
That is crazy, 14. Can you imagine that?
Her son, not last night, but the night before, played his first ever major and took down Taylor Fritz, who's America's top player, in the first round of the U.S. Open. So good for him, bad for American tennis, because we got no chance of going deep into the Open now. Yeah, but that was his first major win. That was pretty cool. She was obviously sitting courtside and very excited for her little boy.
As she should be.
As she should be, no doubt.
And in 1990...
Who looks every bit... I don't know how old he is. He looks college age, but he looks every bit of 14 himself.
1990, one of the coolest things that ever happened in sports, in my opinion. Baseball outfielders Ken Griffey and Ken Griffey Jr. become the first father and son to play on the same team and hit a pair of back-to-back singles in the first inning, and both scored.
That's pretty cool.
Obviously, this was with the Seattle Mariners. 1997, salute to one of my favorite Yankees. Don Mattingly's number 23 is retired at Yankee Stadium. It is National Trail Mix Day, or as Chuck likes to call it, Honey Nut Cheerios.
Yeah, just a little update. Real Cheerios have now entered the Heinz residence.
I think Honey Nut Cheerios would be good in trail mix.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
In
fact, I would put Honey Nut Cheerios above Cheerios in trail mix.
Just never had heard of somebody, adding to the cereal.
I prefer my trail mix with Cheerios. Is my base.
Okay.
So Honey Nut Cheerios would be even better, I bet. Yeah. I'm glad to hear that you got that taken care of.
It was
We were a little concerned.
Taken care of for me, but I mean, apparently I was told this, but I wasn't listening. That I know that you all are shocked by that.
Yes, 100% shocked.
Yeah.
Couple of huge birthdays from around here. One of them's got a freeway named after her.
Yeah, Marcia Sharp.
70 today.
Wow.
So happy birthday to Coach. And someone with as many skins on the wall as she has. Planette Pearson, 41 today.
Okay.
So happy birthday to both of them. Chris Tucker, 50 today. Richard Gere, 73. Larry Fitzgerald, 39. Debbie Gibson, 51. And Hideo Nomo is 54. And on this day in 1997...
It's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Yeah.
Hideo Nomo?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Not a good day in 1997. Shortly after midnight, Princess Diana, Princess of Wales, affectionately known as the People's Princess, dies in a car crash in Paris. She was 36. Reasons for the crash: intoxicated driver and under the influence of drugs. She was survived by her two sons, Prince William, who was 15 at the time, and Prince Harry, who was 12. And that is this day in sports history.
All right, this day in sports history, 6:51 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Saw this last night. Little sports deja vu. Have you seen this? The sports deja vu?
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay,
so
well,
I don't know if I have or not.
Okay, sports deja vu. Things that took place on August the 29th, 2001, and things that took place on August the 29th, 2022. So just the other day.
Yeah, I've not seen this.
Okay. August the 29th, 2001, Serena Williams wins at the U.S. Open. Albert Pujols hits a home run. Vlad Guerrero Sr., Craig Biggio, and Dante Bichette all record a hit. Flash forward to the other day, August the 29th, 2022. Serena Williams wins at the U.S. Open. Albert Pujols hits a home run. Vlad Guerrero Jr., Kevin Biggio, and
I thought it was Gavin.
Oh, Gavin. Okay, well, that's spelled with a C here on this graphic that I saw. Okay, so Gavin Biggio and Bo Bichette all get a hit.
That's cool.
That is pretty cool. I thought that's a nice little conversation starter.
Kudos to Serena and Albert for outlasting
no doubt,
fathers to sons.
No doubt.
Although I'm willing to bet if Vlad Sr. was playing, he could still get a hit today.
I bet so, but I bet he's not turning a single into a double.
No.
I don't think he's legging one out.
He might put one through the infield. They might be able to throw him out at first, though.
Maybe.
Now, it could also bounce off the ground and he still hit it out, because we've seen him do that a couple of times. Massive amounts of respect for that Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Agreed.
6:53 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to WT973.com. I struck a nerve with somebody, and I really didn't mean to strike a nerve with regard to my graduation stats, but I didn't mean to do that, so I apologize if I struck a nerve with you, because we got this. Jamie, it depends on where their classes are. I have 100% seen them being carted to classes by what looks like student aides while the rest of us walk or wait for the bus. I've also sat in engineering classes and watched football players sit there without taking a single note in classes where you need notes to pass the exams. Like you said, I'm not bitter about it. They're helping make the university money. Chuck's comments basically poo-pooing the rest of us for having 20% less of a graduation rate just pinched a nerve. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. They definitely have an advantage in classes over us, and I also have a full-time job. All right, that's a fair comment. So, let's see. Raiders dad. I've added bananas to my Cheerios. I've never heard of anyone adding to Cheerios. Which of these statements you have made in the last 24 hours is true, Chuck? I have added bananas to my Cheerios. I've never heard of anyone adding to Cheerios, which my darling daughter did, of adding trail mix to the Honey Nut Cheerios. I thought it was some kind of weird mix by Cheerios. So yeah, I made both those comments, right? It is what it is, right?
I guess.
Yeah, just clarification, right? Yeah. All right, just before 7, we'll talk some Texas Tech football. They're in action Saturday. If you did not know that.
Good news.
As the calendar turns, we'll have it for you on Double T 97.3 as Texas Tech faces Murray State. The kick is at 7. Optimum Game Day live coverage begins at 7 Saturday morning. We'll hear from the head coach next after SportsCenter.
getting you up and getting your sports day started. This is the Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3.
Hey, good morning. It is the Morning Drive on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3 and Double T 97.3.com with Jamie Linton, Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. Nice to have you with us this morning. This last day of August. Goodness, where did this month go, man? I think this month flew by faster than any of the months of the summer.
I could believe that.
Mm-hmm. This has been a lot of work done this last month.
Oh yeah, no doubt. But I mean, it's just it's flown by. It's like work, sleep. Maybe a little bit of sleep for you, Mr. McGuire. But it just feels like
work, sleep, work.
Is that how it goes?
That's how it's been.
Okay. So anyway, hopefully you got everything done that you needed to get done as we get ready for the first football game of the season on Saturday.
I'm almost done. There's a few things we still got to do.
Okay.
We're getting there.
Okay.
We'll be ready Saturday though.
Yeah, I mean I'm assuming when we kick off we'll be ready to go.
And that will be done. That we're good there.
Kickoff
we
for
will
us,
hear the game.
It's at 7 a.m. on Saturday morning. So we're well underway with everything getting ready for Optimum Game Day Live on Saturday morning from just outside the Frazier Alumni Pavilion, southwest corner of Jones Stadium. So we bring you coverage like nobody else on Double T 97.3 and the Double T 97.3 mobile app. We come to you this morning from the First United Bank Double T 97.3 studio. Look forward to your thoughts, comments on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Benchmark hotline is open as well at 806-771-0973. Let me give you a couple things on Murray State, maybe what you need to know. Murray State last year won 6 ball games. They were 6-5, and for them, it's the first time they've won posted back-to-back winning seasons since 1999 and 2000. So that's a significant achievement for them. Mm-hmm. They returned 15 starters, lost just 2 offensive and 5 defensive starters from a year ago. So there'll be some veteranness to them that will probably help them as they go through the entire season. Next week they play Jacksonville State, and Deion Sanders' team is in the news, man, for just terrible reasons with regard to
struggles
and the whole town there of not being able to use your water, basically flush toilets, take showers. Basic things, let alone trying to get ready for a football season. And here's a did you know for when you get to the stadium and you want to just elbow the guy next to you. Hey, did you know? Which I know that you just love to do. You can do this in the press box too.
I probably would just get up and walk away.
Murray State plays at Ray Stewart Stadium in Murray, Kentucky. It's 948 miles to Jones Stadium, making it the farthest the Racers have played from Murray since 2004, when they traveled 1,095 miles to Yukon. How about that?
How about it?
Well, I mean
that's quite a trip for
you. Know what? If you would have said to me, how far is it from here to Murray? I don't know that I would have said almost 1,000 miles. And I don't think I would have said it's 1,095 to Yukon.
I guess I would have guessed less.
Yeah. I don't think I would have said that. Well, think about their equipment truck. The correction on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. You're right. Jacksonville State is Rich Rodriguez. Yeah, Jackson State is Deion Sanders. Anyway, Jackson State's had big problems, but you're right, Jacksonville State. I had that in my mind, and I went there. Yesterday when I looked at this, I'm like, oh, that's Deion's team. But Deion doesn't have a Ville on the end of his Jackson.
Yeah, just a state.
Jackson. Yeah, so thank you. Thank you then. So there you go. So that's a couple things about Murray State. Here's Coach Joy McGuire talking about the Murray State defense and what that brings.
I think as a whole, they're young. They're young when it comes to the offensive line. Defensive line experience-wise, but they have some linebackers that have played a lot of football. Number 34 in particular keeps showing up on tape. They've got a safety or corner that's playing safety. He's played both. That's a really good football player. The one thing about Coach Hood, I don't know him personally. Coach Deruyter, they kind of come from the same Coach Grobe. You've got a defensive coach. He coached for Coach Stoops in Kentucky. So I expect them to play really hard and really sound when it comes to the defensive side of the ball.
That's head football coach Joey McGuire for Texas Tech. So they're getting ready for things as far as that is concerned. The other thing that is a bit of a concern, and this is for both opponents, is that they have no film but stuff to watch from last year. For Murray State, they're going to watch a team that is going to look entirely different Saturday. For Coach McGuire, they get to go back and look at film from Murray State from last year. Same coach, 15 starters, but he did talk about the challenges of what that brings when there's no film on an opponent.
I think more and more it's become even more of a challenge because of the transfer portal and different people losing different players, and then guys picking up different players. So I think it's, we've done a lot of research. Coach Hamby, Monday is our personnel day to where our guys come in and start looking at the personnel and watching film, and we've had to go and grab different people's films because you got different transfers. I'm sure they're doing the same thing whenever it comes to some of our guys and who's going to play on Saturday. So it's tough. But, coaches, we're creatures of habit, and we're going to do what we know, and what we know is successful. So, I'm expecting them to play with great effort, but still be in the scheme that really caused some problems for different teams last year. It helps us a little bit. The one thing about our staff is Josh Cochran and Kirk Bryant actually played them last year whenever they were at Austin Peay. And so just the familiarity of being in that conference helps us a little bit going into this game.
Well, that's an interesting,
Yeah, that should help a little bit. I do think it's interesting what he was saying about the transfer portal, about the difficulties it is as coaches to be able to scout an opponent, because, boy, the personnel is just changing so much with guys leaving and guys coming in. So, boy, you don't really know what a team's going to look like, but I guess all you can look at is what the coaches have coached in the past and what kind of styles of offense or defense or whatever they've run.
Yeah. No, and when he said that, it's like, it makes perfect sense, right? It makes perfect sense.
Absolutely.
But you don't think about that from a scouting standpoint or game preparation standpoint of how these teams can change dramatically. You always thought about that probably most predominantly with basketball, because even before the transfer portal, basketball teams could seemingly change overnight with the addition of freshmen or junior college players or even transfers to a degree. But now with football having that same deal, you can transform your team almost overnight.
Yep.
Recapping yesterday while looking ahead to today's sports day. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3
with Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire and Chuck Heinz. Wouldn't it be interesting if you and Coach McGuire switched jobs just for a few hours?
I think that would be a miserable fail for the Texas Tech football team.
I don't think he could come in here and do what you do, though.
Train Monkey can do what I do. Except there's a reason I'm here. I'm cheaper than bananas.
Cheaper than bananas?
That's why I'm here.
Well,
if we could keep the
like
monkeys working for bananas, they'd be here instead of me.
Yeah. 7:15 this morning on the Morning Drive. Nice to have you with us with Jeff McGuire and Jamie Lynn. I'm Chuck Heinz. Nice to hear from you as well on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to the Double T 97.3 mobile app. It's presented by Happy State Bank. We get this note. I had seen this. I did not remember this, though, so thanks for the reminder on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Cole McDowell, the Murray State tight end, is the son of the Lubbock Christian University president and the CEO of the Lubbock Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, that's cool.
So they won't have to travel far for a road game.
Sure.
To see their son play. So that was very Chamber of Commerce-ish of us to invite them to come play here. Right? And nice town and gown, extension of the handshake across the street to LCU to bring in the president's son.
Yeah, where did he play high school football, I wonder?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it was here, but I don't know. Let's see. Couple things here about Murray State. It's only the second time they've played a Big 12 conference team. They played Missouri back in 2006, and just the third time that they've played in the state of Texas. They played Texas A&M Commerce in 1940 and North Texas in 1989. Probably because it's so far away. Probably a reason why they haven't been here. Right?
Yeah, that would probably factor in.
That would probably factor in. Yeah, that would probably factor in. Somebody says this off the Yates Flooring Center chat line. They've got their meat marinating for Saturday's tailgate.
That's good.
I'm curious what they're marinating.
Yep.
Is it steaks or brisket, or what do you got? What do you got marinating? That you got to marinate starting on Tuesday night all the way to Saturday.
Cole McDowell's hometown is listed as Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay.
High school, Lipscomb Academy. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure.
His parents moved here just recently.
I'm not sure what you marinate there for 3 days. That's more up your alley than mine. I would be pretty lost.
Yeah. Yeah. Paul says this: caramelized onions piled high on bratwurst with spicy mustard for our household. Must be his tailgate food for Saturday. That seems quite the extravaganza. Caramelized onions piled high on bratwurst with spicy mustard. That does sound pretty good, actually. Okay, so if you want to share with us what you're doing, you certainly can. Okay. Tim Deruyter is the defensive coordinator for Texas Tech. And, when you think about kind of the defense and what you've got here, we've talked about this quite a bit, the veteran leadership that you've got on this team. He first talks about the three corners, the defensive backs, and we've talked about what a strength this is. And he talks about the senior leadership that's on the field at the same time, potentially, for Texas Tech.
Well, you got three guys there that have played a lot of football. They understand the game. They're fast football players. They're all physical and guys that can cover and guys that can blitz. And so having that combination gives us the ability to move guys around a little bit. I like Mudd being close to the line of scrimmage. He can play man coverage on a slot, but he can also blitz and make plays off an edge. And both Reggie and Rabbit can play a deep half. They can play the post and also play man coverage. So having those skill sets really bodes well for them fitting our system, and I think it's going to allow them to make a lot of plays.
He's talking about Marquise Waters, who's a super senior from Delray Beach, Florida. He's talking about Reggie Pearson, who's a senior from Detroit, and then also talking about Taylor. I can never
Demerson.
get all. Yeah, Demerson. Taylor Demerson, right?
Adrian Taylor Demerson.
Adrian Taylor Demerson, right? He's the senior from Oklahoma City.
That's why we call him Rabbit. It's just easier.
We saw him on Saturday, and he's a pretty mild-mannered young man. And I said to him, I said, tell Noah your nickname, and he kind of sheepishly said Rabbit. It was like he didn't seem like he was all in on the Rabbit thing.
It's his Twitter handle.
I know, but I'm just telling you it just seemed a little sheepish about it, Rabbit. He wasn't like
I'm so
Rabbit.
Confused now.
Huh?
I'm so confused now.
Why
if it was my Twitter handle, I'd be bragging about it. Because obviously you like it enough to make it your Twitter handle.
Yeah, maybe he's just a, mild-mannered, level-headed guy.
Or maybe he's just a little uncomfortable talking to people he doesn't really know.
It could be, right. It could be. Yeah, it could be.
It's chucking the young phenom. Who does?
That's sometimes has happened before. There's people that don't necessarily like to talk to everybody, like Jeff and I. That you're allowed to. You do you, right? Be you, right? So it's nothing. There's nothing wrong with that.
Sure.
Nothing
the
wrong
world
with that.
takes all types.
Right. The other thing that they're pretty excited about, Coach Deruyter is, and I think probably Coach McGuire and the whole team, is what they're getting up front on that defensive line and the leadership that they're getting out of that portion of the team.
Well, you look at guys like Tony and Jay Boog. They've, again, been here a while, played a lot of football. I've noticed both of them in the off-season program when I first got here in the weight room, how hard they work, just the leadership example they set for everyone else. But I think what's really helped is bringing a couple of guys like Miles and V in to keep pushing the competition. So they knew they had to show up every day. And I like, the mix that we have right there. And, Philip's a guy that has made some progress too. When competition can push guys that are, the older established guys, they know they can't rest. And so having that good competition every single day, I think pushed all of them. And the standards that they're going to hold for the entire D-line, I think can be held, really high, because if you're not ready to go, get the next guys in, and there's not a big drop-off.
Miles Cole is a transfer from Louisiana Monroe, 6'6", 285. He is classified as a senior. V is Vidal Scott, who's a super senior from Pensacola, played at he's from West Florida. He is 6'1", 285.
Guys.
And so I talked to him on Saturday as well. He played last year at Arkansas State. It was real trivial, but he agreed with me. I told him my wife and I had been down in that area, and said we flew into Pensacola, and I said, there's a great beach right by the airport. And he was in full agreement with me.
That's good.
So
that's good. The guy that he mentioned right off the bat there, Tony Bradford, is a guy I think that just gets overlooked so much. I think he's I don't think he's the dynamic player that you're going to get from, a guy that's rushing and pulling down the quarterback 8 or 10 times a game, or a guy that's in the defensive backfield that's going to make, 4 or 5 picks and, return one for a touchdown or whatever. But I just think so consistent and such a great leader for the team. I think you need guys like that. And, man, he just comes across as a happy-go-lucky, great personality, really, head on his shoulders straight, and just got to be a great guy for that coaching staff to have around younger players. And again, one of those guys that just really makes the locker room work.
No question. And, Tony Bradford, 6'1", 300, big smile on his face. I'm not sure he's a guy that you want to line up across from.
Yeah, he's gonna make it work. Yeah, he's gonna battle.
But he's certainly a guy that can help you put pressure on the quarterback without question. Somebody says this at Big 12 Media Days. He bragged about his nickname, and he's a loud dude. I think Jamie is right. Probably nervous around Chuck. No, probably just nervous around old people, maybe.
So are you saying you're old?
It is what it is, right? I feel like I'm young at heart. I still feel.
Is he afraid he's going to get overexcited and break your hip or something?
I don't know.
Spill your bottle of Metamucil?
Could have, yeah. They didn't have the bottle of Metamucil with me on Saturday. Yeah. Didn't need it. Okay. It's 7:25 this morning here on the morning drive. Jamie's question of the day is next.
Recapping yesterday while looking ahead to today's sports day. This is the Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is presented by Bizarre Solutions. Call them today for a free cybersecurity audit.
You get one official question of the day, but I have a feeling that you question a lot of things that Jeff and I do throughout the day.
I mostly question the things I do.
Okay.
Like, why did you do that?
Why are you here?
No, I question myself way more than I do you guys. All right, so my question for today is about the Red Raider football team. What would it take you seeing on Saturday to make you feel more confident about this year's football team? Taking into account the level of competition you're facing. And we've said that, more times than not, the only thing you're going to find out would be negative. So what is something you could find out that would be positive?
When you said that, the first thing that came to mind was a clean game. So to me, a clean game would be limited number of penalties, particularly the ones that you can control. Pre-snap, penalties where you get called for, late hits, stuff that has kind of driven us crazy in the past, unsportsmanlike penalty conducts, things like that. So playing a clean game is the first thing that kind of came to my mind.
Okay.
Crispness. Guys knowing exactly where they need to be, when they need to be someplace, and being there on both sides of the ball. You're not out of position. You're running all the right routes. You're executing the right plays. You're making the right calls from the line, from the quarterback. That would make me feel better going into the future.
Okay, I'll say dominance in the trenches. I think if you on both sides of the football, I think if you're just winning that battle barely, then you're not saying to yourself, well, we've got a lot of talent there. You just played a poor team and we're able to get by them. Okay. Mm-hmm. But I think if you're dominating, if you're getting after the quarterback a ton and you're creating plenty of time for Tyler Shuck and two other guys to come out there and find time in the pocket, and you're creating running lanes for your running backs who are not getting touched until the second level. I mean, all of those things I think could give me a little bit more confident that your offensive line is maybe better than what we had thought, and your defensive line, which I have high hopes for. I just don't know about the depth. Defensive line could be a big weapon as well. So those are mine. Deals with the battle in the trenches. But again, you're taking into account the level of competition. So again, that's why I say if you're just winning it, you're probably not that impressed with it. But if you're dominating it, maybe it gives you, I think it would give me a little bit more confidence.
I think I like both your answers better than mine. I liked Jeff's better than mine, and then I think you took it to a really good level there of
I think all three things are good.
No, they are. I think as I came away with it, was listening to you guys, I like the Christmas aspect of what Jeff said, and then one of the things that Coach McGuire is going to put a high emphasis on, and look, a lot of coaches do, it's just he said it out loud the other day that if you want to win a high level of games, you have to be really good at the offensive line and defensive line, which I think we would all agree going into the season, the offensive line has got a big old question mark by it, which it has. I had somebody text me yesterday, as a matter of fact, going, how long will we be saying that? And I don't think we'll be saying it very long, because I think that's something that they're going to really put a point of emphasis on. But I don't think we can say right now that the offensive line is not a question mark. So I like your answer of the dominance up front and not having the game in question like we saw with Houston Baptist a couple years ago and Stephen F. Austin last year.
Chuck, I'm not going to let you poo-poo your own answer, though. Mm-hmm. Because if you've got a 0 in the penalties, if you don't have any pre-snap penalties in the game, if you're doing everything you're supposed to be doing there, you shot yourself in the foot enough over the past decade plus that a 0 there shows a lot of coaching from the coaches that have made it into the players' heads.
Now, if you want to tell me 0 pre-snap penalties, I'll say great thing. Not good, great thing. But you say 0 penalties overall, I think I'd like to have a defense that's a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah.
Okay? That maybe a defensive back is going to get to a receiver a little too quick on a pass, or, maybe there's some some extra hitting every once in a while, a little
Let
bit
them know
late.
that you're here. Welcome to the Big 12.
I don't know
Welcome to
about 0 penalties. Sounds to me like, we were just trying to avoid penalties and not playing super aggressive. But 0 pre-snap, I'm all in on that. All in on that.
So, like if the tight end whose dad is the president at LCU and mom's the president of the Chamber of Commerce, like if one of our linebackers pops him really hard and says the Chamber of Commerce would like to welcome you to Lubbock, that's probably a little over the top, right?
I don't think that would get a flag, so I'm sure that's fine.
Okay. Paul says this, kicking, tight end use, offensive line, and quarterback completions. Okay. Somebody else says this, 100% touchdowns when in the red zone, 0 opponent 10 points or less, 10 or less points, I should say, and then 3 takeaways. The 3 takeaways, another big point of emphasis for Coach McGuire. As it is, again, for all coaches, this is not new stuff, but I mean, they have made a point of emphasis of being 3+. Now, let me give you a stat on Murray State and what they did last year. Points off turnovers. They gave up 45 points off turnovers last year. They only scored 23.
How many games did they play in this little spring schedule of theirs?
11.
11.
Yeah.
And they picked up basically 4 yards a game off of turnovers.
4 points.
Yeah, I'm sorry, 4 points per game.
But they gave up. They gave up 45 points. They only scored 23 themselves.
Okay, well they gave up.
Yeah. Gotcha.
4 points per game off of turnovers. Yeah, I don't know. How many points did the Red Raiders give up off of turnovers last year?
I don't have that number.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't even know. That doesn't seem like a massively large number to me.
It didn't seem that way to me either, but then when I looked at how many they scored, when they only scored 23.
Which is not very good.
Yeah. So
either they didn't take advantage or they weren't forcing turnovers.
Right.
That could be on the offense or the defense.
I mean, you did a pretty good job of intercepting the ball last year, for Texas Tech. I just don't know what that number was. So I should have anticipated that question because you're right. And if that was theirs, what was ours? I was just impressed that they have that listed like that. So
there's a good answer on the 8th Story Center chat line.
What's that?
No special team gaffes.
Yeah. No, that's extremely fair. Somebody else says 5 takeaways, defensive shutout, and moving the ball without turnovers. Chuck, I agree with your clean aspect way more than the other two. The reason being, when playing a lesser opponent, you expect to dominate the line and you expect to run crisp routes because you're playing lesser competition. If you are unable to do those two things, then that falls into the negative aspect. So expecting to do those things and not having pre-snap penalties or self-inflicted wounds, then that is much more indicative of the season and type of team we'll have. Okay.
It's also,
you can expect to dominate along the offensive defensive line against lesser opponents all you want, but it's not what you've done.
That's very fair.
And it's also game 1.
Yeah.
You learn a lot between game 1 and game 2, as coaches have finally said on multiple different programs and multiple different universities.
Including
if they're clean
one.
on game 1, that leads me to believe they're going to be clean on game 2 and so forth.
Here's something else that you could dramatically improve on, this year, would be third down conversion. Last year, you were 67 of 157. Your opponent was 84 of 188. If you could flip that for the season, then you would win probably more than 6 games.
What about your fourth down defensive conversion?
Okay, and on that...
No, not the offensive converting a fourth down. The defense stopping a fourth down.
I know. They were 22 of 30. Opponents were last year, and Tech was 14 of 29.
22 of 30. That's a high percentage. Boy, you sure would like to change that.
Yeah, that was a lot of going for it on 3rd and long, coming up short and going, hey, we know you can't stop us. We're going to go ahead and go for it on 4th down.
You've been listening to the Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3. For more from Lubbock Sports Station, go to doublet973.com.